Hello, parents and families. I hope all is going well. I thought it might be kind of easier. We'll try it out to do a quick video for you about some announcements. I know there's just a lot of paper and things like that that come home in folders, so this might be quick and easy. So first thing, I'm going to start sending home some manila envelopes, and your child's envelope will, they'll probably decorate the front of it, but this manila envelope is going to be the way that I'm going to start sending home tests that we have taken. And so I know some of you were confused about report cards and on report cards why there weren't any scores for term 1. But what we do is we first take a benchmark score to kind of see where they are and assess where they are right when they come into second grade. Because we didn't have the kids live in person for those first 4 weeks of school, we did not get that done in August. We got that done in September. And all the skills that we were supposed to teach this first 9 weeks or term 1, they were just supposed to be introduced to your kids. So they were not expected to reach mastery or even develop those very deep yet. So what you're going to start seeing in these manila envelopes are both their benchmark assessment and then the second time they take an assessment after Miss Risen, Miss Bean, or I has taught them that skill in depth. So the goal is that you have seen some growth on that skill, of course. Now, that does not mean this is the last time your child will ever see those skills or assess those skills. So we want you to keep these at home. You don't need to send the assessments back. And if there's something your child's been struggling on, we've already been working on it with them. But of course, they can use all the extra help they can get. So be sure to look through those and look at those. Make sure you send the actual envelope back, though, because we'll be sending those tests home in there regularly. Okay. Also, I'm going to be sending home something, and it stands for words per minute. So I am in the process of reading a couple of passages with every single child in the class and assessing how many words they can read per minute. The goal for a second grader, and I know this is not a normal year, and that we had a hiccup at the end of last year with COVID, and so on a normal year, our expectation is that we're reading close to 80 words maybe around this time, and by the end of the year, we're reading about 100 words in a minute. So that's always something that you can work on with your kid at home. Find a passage that maybe is in one of the assessments that gets sent home, or a book that's about a second grade level, and have them read that passage or those books out loud to you. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is just from now until winter break. It kind of goes along with what I've been saying. We have quite a few things that we are working on, and those things that are supposed to be mastered by winter break. And as much as you can do with those skills at home is going to help us out here at school, since we're having to do things in kind of a non-traditional fashion. We can't get in small groups like we normally have, and so some of those big ticket items, we need to have the kids know how to tell time. But it's not just telling time, it's telling time on an analog clock. That's with the shorthand and the longhand. And they need to be able to tell time to the nearest 5 minutes. They also need to know things like, would you rather go on vacation for a week or 10 days? And so they're going to need to know some of those conversions between days and weeks and months, hours and seconds and minutes, and those kinds of things. The other big ticket item for math is money. We are supposed to be able to count a collection of coins and by Christmas break or winter break. So Mrs. Bean has been working hard with your kids on that skill, but there's a lot of room to still grow. So this includes $1 bills, and then any kind of compilation of quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies. And we need them to be able to count that. And we needed them to be able to do that. They can maybe use tally marks. It does not matter how they get that, but we need them to know how much that money is. So those are the big ticket math items. For reading, as long as you can try to be reading with your child and then asking them to be able to retell the story to you and maybe answer some questions about the book. A lot of us have gotten to the point that we are good readers. We can read through the stories, but now is the point in second grade we need to be able to start answering questions about what we just read. And so not the simple things like just who was the character, but maybe what was the problem? What was the solution? What were some things that you would have done if you were that character in that book? So kind of deeper thinking kind of questions to get your kiddos ready for third grade. And then for writing, we have been working really hard on writing about reading. We've been writing letters about books we are reading. So it kind of goes into what Mrs. Risen has been doing for reading. But there is a rubric of what I am looking for in your child's writing. And so I will send that second grade rubric home so you can see what it looks like. And maybe practice writing, ask your child to read a book with you, and then write a letter about that book and their opinions. Write that letter maybe to me or a grandparent or a neighbor. And you could look through that rubric and see how they're doing on that letter writing. So I know that's a lot as far as now until winter break, but it's just some things if you wanted to work on them, you could. I know we're going to have a lot of time off at Thanksgiving, and maybe you aren't traveling like you normally would. And so that's something or some things that you could work on. Also, between now and winter break, we are trying our hardest to keep everyone well. Second grade, thankfully, has not had any COVID, the teachers or the students. And so we are very thankful that your kids do such a good job. We wear our masks so regularly. We wash our hands. And so keep up the good work. And then lastly, I just want to remind you all about the Texas Roadhouse fundraiser. It was a lime green piece of paper that went home last week. There are incentives. So the person in my class that gets the most sales will get $5 in core cash, and the winner for the whole grade level will end up with $10 core cash. So I know that's important to your kids. They've been shopping and getting some things off of the core cart. And so if you're interested in selling any rolls from Texas Roadhouse, be looking for that lime green paper that went home last week. All right, if you guys have any more questions or want to call or have any kind of phone conferences, just let me know, and be looking for those manila envelopes coming home within the next few days.